Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. More Blood and Plunder here as we have another Spanish commander that we hadn't caught on the first time around. So today we're taking a look at Andrés de Ochoa y Zárate. And an interesting character, so sitting at 20 points, gives us a couple of forces to lead. We can go with the Armada de Barlovento, Tercios, or the Spanish Militia. So plenty of options there, and again we covered those forces in their own right separately. He has a couple of weapons options as well, so we can go pistol or matchlock musket and standard melee weapon. He's got the 12-inch command range, so more than enough there, but also is rocking the 3 command points, which we don't always see, especially for 20 points, but part of the reason I think we're getting that is because he does have a little bit of a downside, which we'll cover, which, it may or may not come up. But we get the usual combination of abilities that we are familiar with. So inspiring, first of all, right? All friendly units within the command range of the commander may reroll failed rally tests when the commander's unit is active. So in other words, when he's doling out command points. Plenty of range coverage with that. 24-inch bubble, we're all good. Inspiring is something we look for in just about every commander that we cover, right? Good stuff there. We're going to go out of order for a sec here. Broadside is obviously going to help us on the water, so anytime we can combine shots, basically cannon shots, into one and hope for essentially more chances of causing a crit, and then the more chances we get to inflict crits on the enemy ships, the more we're going to basically render their ships useless and cause extensive damage, hopefully, and again just really make it so that we can continue to win those engagements effectively. So we want to cause things like fire, flood, damage their steering, their sails, etc. Anything that works, right? Crits are a fantastic way to win the naval engagements. Commodore, we see that one sometimes, and again, good combination with broadside if we're on the water. Basically, when we're aboard a ship, the command range is increased by 12 if we're giving commands to other ships. Works just fine, and especially again if we're playing at a game that size where we're going to have multiple ships, that extra command range is going to be plenty. That means we don't have to bunch up so much with the ships and worry about things like collisions and stuff, at least in ideal circumstances. Now the last one, and as we mentioned briefly before, is the downside, and the reason why I think we're only having to spend 20 points here. Otherwise, we're looking at 12-inch command range and 3 command points for 20 points is a hell of a deal. But feeble, right? And I think this is the first time we've seen that. Interesting ability, very flavorful, very fun to encounter this, but obviously we want to make sure that we ideally try to mitigate or avoid this situation altogether. So each time this commander's unit ends an activation with 2 or more points of fatigue, which again is going to be, make it very careful, I guess, when you're using the unit, right? In circumstances where you want to push or anything like that with this commander's unit. But anyway, when we end an activation with 2 or more points of fatigue, the commander may die of old age. Roll a d10 at the end of the activation. If the result is less than the current turn number, the commander is removed as a casualty. So basically can't die on turn 1, but at least from old age, certainly can die the regular way. If the commander is removed as a casualty in this way, another model in the unit will step up and replace the commander and take the stats of an untested commander for that particular faction. So interesting idea there. Very flavorful that somebody else steps up and again basically takes that faction, which leads to a couple interesting scenarios. So obviously if you're running these 3 different factions here, you can take a look at the untested commanders for each of those and then kind of see what that would look like. So ideally we don't want to get our 20-point investment killed from this, but it's something to keep in mind that you do need to have that as a backup available, and that'll obviously affect what you're able to do on the battle moving forward. So ideally we don't end up in a situation where we have fatigue, so probably want to avoid combat and just playing a little bit more conservative in that sense of avoiding too many avenues where the enemy can take shots at you and other things like that. And again, certainly protect the commander when we're aboard ships and stuff as well. So all in all, very interesting character. Have not seen feeble as far as we can remember. Interesting idea to have. But other than that, inspiring Commodore and broadside, he's going to be a-okay. And we just got to be careful again with our placement. Let us know, guys, if you've run Andrés de Ochoa and which force did you run him in? Where did you feel it was the best? And did feeble actually come into play in any games for you? Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.